Okay, now in this video, okay, we talked about all the things that's going on. I don't know, and I don't know. I suppose we all have some anxiety issues where we overthink. I suppose we all overthink different things. I don't know, but when you get done with this class, and once again, we're not trying to psychoanalyze this. We're not trying to be a psychiatrist, which is a person that treats the psychological disorders. We're not. This class is not designed to teach you that. This class is to understand what's going on and how it happens. But I think once we understand those types of things, then I think we can control them much better. I think we can say, okay, where's that coming from? You know, a lot of thoughts enter our head, but we got to realize we all have that. And we all have lots of thoughts. The question is, where's that thought coming from? And does that thought even warrant renting space in our head? Does that thought even warrant? We have unconscious thoughts sometimes, like, whoa, where did that come from? I mean, we might have an unconscious thought. We might even, you're driving down the road and you just have this unconscious thought. What if I just turned over into the other lane and the car hit me? And you're like, whoa, that's got to be a weird thought. And you guys are thinking, man, that guy's really weird. So you may have not had that thought. I'm not saying I had that thought either. I'm just saying I use that as an example. But the thing is we have all kinds of thoughts. So do the thoughts control our lives? And the answer is no. The thoughts don't control our lives. The thoughts can't control our lives. Everybody has a ton of thoughts and a ton of everything, and it's a matter of processing information and deciding what's good and what's not good, okay, of what we're going to do. That takes us into the types of consciousness, okay? So that's your next set of notes. That's what we're going to talk about on this video. So these are the conscientious types, okay? Types of consciousness. Consciousness means that these are memories we're focused on. This isn't just coming from somewhere. These are actual, the way that we think about things in the conscious state. All right. So, types of conscious thought. Okay, number one is social thought. Now, these aren't in any particular order, okay? It's not that one's more important than the other, and you'll see what I mean. So we have social thought, okay? Now, social thought puts us in the realm of other people. How do we react with other people? So a sentence coming from a social thought is, I'm really a little bit better student than Joe over here who doesn't seem to understand what he's doing. Or I'm a little bit better basketball player than George. Okay? So social puts you where you're at. I'm not quite, and it's more than just pecking order. I don't want to make it sound like with these examples. Social might be this. I'm a little bit more extroverted, which I react better with other people around, or I'm a little more introverted. I do better by myself than with others. So why is there a social element to consciousness? Okay, why is there a social element? And the reason is because, as you see, there's going to be 4 different types of consciousness. And once again, it has to do with adaptation and survival. It has to do with where we're at and what we need to do. So we have this incredible kind of new zone going on. Okay, and in order to do that, you have to almost back in the last couple of decades, we would say you need to define your success. Now it is you need to define your realm and where you're at and where you fit socially and what you want to be socially and that types of thing. So there is a definite social consciousness that puts you where you are or where you need to be or corrects you back and forth. Okay? So social consciousness is the first one. The second one, okay, the second form of consciousness is counterfactual. C-O-U-N-T-E-R, counterfactual, okay? So listen to this. Here's a couple of statements from the counterfactual part of consciousness. If I'd have left early, okay, if I'd have left earlier, I would have gotten up on time. Okay, counterfactual is things that you could have changed or things that you could have done in hindsight. Okay, and so in a little bit we're gonna do temporal future, so you can see what you can do for your future. But counterfactual is what you can do to improve yourself based on what you've already learned. Oh, okay, I get it. Well, I hung around with that guy and he wasn't a very good friend. So if I'd have hung around with maybe these people, maybe I'd have had a better influence. Oh, well, that's a very conscientious thought. That's not unconscious back in the back here. Okay. So what happens is so many times we have anxiety issues and we deal with the unconscious or the subconscious, and we have all these voices coming in our mind. But what we're forgetting is the conscious overrides the unconscious every time. The conscious, and you see what I'm saying? The conscious overrides the unconscious. So there's 4 different kinds of conscious. Let me kind of give them to you. I know you're taking notes, and then we'll come back and talk about them. So we have the social, okay, the social. I'm a little bit better giving a speech than so and so, or I see them, and that's kind of well, I don't want to get into future. Okay, I don't want to get into future. I was going to say I see them, and that's what I want to be. No, that's temporal future. So this is learning from the past. So social is looking at where we're at socially and where we want to be. Counterfactual is learning from our past mistakes. Learning from our past mistakes. Oh, if I hadn't have touched, I've got to tell you, I've got to come back and I've got to tell you, this begins at age 3. Okay, age 3 is our first memories. When this part of the brain develops at age 3, okay, then all these types of consciousness types kick in. So right away, so a little kid, if I hadn't have touched that flame, I wouldn't have gotten burned. Okay. If I had turned off that clock, it wouldn't be chiming right now during the video. Okay, so it's probably a good thing I didn't. Good example. Okay, now, so counterfactual, if I had done this, then this would have been the cause and effect, and this what could have been better. Okay, counterfactual. Then we have the temporal fast. Okay, temporal, T-E-M-P, E-R-A-L. Okay, temporal. Okay, past. All right. I got more sleep when I was in high school. Now, this is not the temporal past. It's not the counterfactual. If I'd have gotten up earlier, I would have got there on time. The temporal past is able to look back at everything in the past and see what it is and make a relationship to it. So the temporal past. When I was young, I did this. Okay. Well, so then the conscious goes, okay, well, where was that good or was that bad? All right. And so we also have a certain amount of learning that goes with temporal past. So for example, we're sitting there and we're learning math, okay, and the teacher says, okay, we're multiplying these together, and now we're going to do something called FOIL, where we're going to do first, outer, inner, last, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I saw a problem like that. That would have helped me last week if I had known that. Okay, temporal past. Now, why is that so important? Because that's pulling this memory out and it's bringing it to a state of consciousness. Okay, social memory, that's bringing out past memories and bringing them to the conscious. Counterfactual, that's allowing memories to come out and use them to our benefit. Temporal past, that's pulling those memories out as they apply to what we're doing right now. Now let's go to the temporal, T-E-M-P. I think I might have spelled it right. It's temporal, T-E-M-P-O-R-A-L, temporal, T-E-M-P, like the temporal part of our brain. Temporal future, okay? So in the temporal future, this is not based on any past experiences, not on the temporal past or on counterfactual. The temporal future is looking ahead to see what we're going to do. I am going to go on vacation when I get off for the summer. I'm going to do better in class this year. I see myself doing this, okay? I've got to be careful I'm not talking about social there, okay? All right? But temporal future, I'm beginning to see something before it happens, and then it happens because it becomes part of my conscious state. All right? I'm going to fill in the blank. Okay? And then fill in the blank. So now, once again, conscious types: social, counterfactual, temporal, T-E-M-P-O-R-A-L. I don't know why I said E-R-A-L. T-E-M-P-O-R-A-L, temporal past and temporal future. So there's the 4 types of consciousness. All right, now what else did we say was a really critical statement? The state of consciousness overrides, is stronger, is more dominant than the states of unconscious. All right, and unconscious, you know, we had this a while ago when we talked about the memories that come up. We have to be careful because sometimes we have some type of existing memory, and my fax machine's going off there, so that was a distraction. Okay, so I'm going to do a whole states of consciousness on that fax machine going off. Social, all right. Well, I have less distractions here than you probably had in the regular classroom. Okay, counterfactual. If I had unplugged the fax machine, it wouldn't have come on. Temporal past. I heard that sound before, and it was the fax machine. Temporal future. I won't discuss the fax machine next time it goes off. Okay, so if you kind of understood those, then you're beginning to understand the states of consciousness. These are conscious types of thinking. Now, use of consciousness. All right, use of consciousness. Now, there's 3 uses of consciousness. First of all, it's survival. We have to, our state of consciousness, what is conscious? Conscious is the thoughts that we actually dwell on and think about and take and act on. The state of consciousness, okay? The thoughts that we take, we act upon. First of all, they aid in survival. We have to know if we're in danger, all right? Second of all, this is critical, okay? The second use of consciousness is construction of reality. Construction of reality. If you have anxiety and you have depression, and even if it's a chemical imbalance, even though no matter what it is, you have to use your state of consciousness to construct reality. Reality is that it's gonna that this is just a thought in my head, and I've got to do this and this and this. Okay, construction of reality is a state of consciousness. It overrides state of unconsciousness. You know, the state of unconsciousness, I gave you a really stupid example a while ago where you just have a thought in your head, I wonder what would happen if I'm driving down the interstate and I just turn my car into the other lane. Because conscious overrides that, and you go, it's a construction of reality. I wouldn't want to do that. That would kill me. That would kill the other person. That would be a stupid thing to do, because my state of consciousness says that's construction of reality. That's not reality. And then number 3, okay, is decisions and thought process. What we do, the decisions we make, the thought process we have, which result in the behavior that we have, that's the use of consciousness. So there's 3 uses of consciousness and consciousness thinking. Conscious thinking is thinking that we bring to the forefront, we think about, we actually deal with, they're tangible, okay? And what do we use them? We use them for survival, construction of reality, and decisions and thought-making process. So if we don't use consciousness and we go from the unconscious, then we first of all, we have a problem with survival. We can definitely make some bad decisions there. We have no construction of reality. Okay. So I want to tell you one more thing as we wrap up this video. There's something called meditation. There's all kinds of meditation. I mean, there's the whole you know, that type of thing, and there's yoga and all these different things. When you hear meditation, and meditation can also be prayer, but meditation does what? Meditation eliminates unconscious thoughts. It focuses, it brings things back to the conscious functioning and the conscious thinking, okay? And so what does meditation do? It takes out the unconscious thoughts. Meditation helps us focus because we're focused on either praying or relaxing or whatever we're doing for meditation. Instead of that being an unconscious thought, we bring that in and we make that the actual conscious thought. So that's the purpose of meditation. So with that, we're going to wrap up this video, and I'll see you on the next one.